This could be the worst it gets, and nobody would ever know.
Perfect, but I wish I let you see the flaws of it and to Sweet.
Sounds great.
And then I gotta turn off Spotify. Oh, nice. All right. We are back for another Pauper Commander Friday Night Magic. Mizu, damn, I love this.
Hello.
LGS. The best fake LGS there ever was. I am bfine, Bobby bfine, and I am joined by the lovely Alkadron and Gatorbait.
Hello.
Oh, I'm not lovely.
You're both sorry. That was like a collective lovely. Sorry, the lovely Alkadron and the lovely Gatorbait. My apologies.
The lovely Alkadron and the regular Gatorbait.
Yeah.
All right, I'll
The
be regular
slightly
today.
less lovely. But thanks for joining me, guys. We're gonna do a little PDH chatting and then watch some games. So it looks like we got Dax and Mizu chatting it up. So yeah.
Ooh, what are Dax and Mizu saying?
Mizu was saying
Ad.
was his favorite LGS, and then looks like an ad was going. So my apologies.
Yeah. Oh wow! I'm in the middle of a 1-minute ad. What?
I need to mess with that. Got it. All right. Things to look at next time. A 1-minute ad is so many. Anyway.
Ugh, that's rough.
Yeah. Twitch gonna Twitch. You get it, Dax. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about some things. I was asking some people what they want to hear us talk about, and so we got a couple things I think can kind of lead into one another. But first, let's talk about these cool tournaments we got going this year. The beginning of this year, and just do a quick run through of when those are happening, and then we'll get chatting. So first up, we have the Common Cause on February 10th, run by OMG Chris, and I think Trivial Encounters is helping out. Common Connoisseurs are helping out. I think that's the crew. There might be one other person, and I'm forgetting, and if so, I am sorry. But should be a good tournament. $200 to first place. There's a bunch of money going to Project Hope. So you get to play PDH, you get to help people, and you get to maybe win some money too. So be there or be square.
What a deal.
Yeah, I'm planning on being there. I know Gator is maybe going to be there, maybe has another thing happening. I don't remember.
Sadly, unable to attend this one, depressingly enough.
Yeah.
I am also going to have to miss it, and I'm really bummed about that.
All right, I'll win for you
Yeah.
guys. I'll do
I
my
believe
part.
You gotta represent this particular FNM.
Yeah, I'm doing it for the January 19th FNM squad.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna shout that out in my victory speech, but
Sweet.
And then a little bit after that, about a month later, we have the 4th Sanctuary Open Series tournament here in the Sanctuary Discord. Ooh, Mizu said he's gonna be at the Common Cause too. Entry $16. I'm gonna talk about what all the prize. I'm gonna put up the prize split and everything, but all the entry fee less the processing fee of $1 per person, thanks to the internet, is going to the prize pool. Winner gets custom token, which we'll talk about and give away some later, and it'll be a good fun time. So. Mox Field is allowed this time. There are gonna be some rules about that posted here soon too, but. Yeah, just more fun tournament stuff. And then for folks who live near Philadelphia or like to travel, Dallas Walker's, I think, 4th Riches to Rags tournament is happening in April in Phoenixville, which is just outside of Philadelphia. It's going to be hosted alongside Punt City 3, which is a big CDH tournament hosted by Eminence, so should be a good turnout. It's capped at 32, I believe, and it's mostly sold out already. So if you're going to be there, sign up now, and it should be a good fun time. So I am also going to be at that one, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Dallas tournaments are always a blast. So I know I was asking Alk how far of a drive it was for him, so it sounds like maybe not in the cards, but I know I think both of you are planning on going to RIW later this year if and when that happens. So
Yeah, RIW was very good to me last year, so I badly want to do RIW again.
Yeah, I'm definitely
But
looking forward to it.
Rags Riches is a bit too far for me.
it's never too far. But
Eh,
I mean, I'm just
it's like
saying it's like a 10-hour drive for me, so
that's a lot.
it is definitely a lot. But yeah, so announcements and fun stuff aside, I thought we would talk about kind of a few things, but maybe starting off with, we talked. I mean, everyone's kind of talked over the last few weeks in Discord servers, on podcasts, on FNM about how just like the metagame has changed over time, right? And it's kind of changed more quickly as of late. I mean, part of that just more cards coming out, more people getting involved, all that fun stuff. But they're like these old boogeyman decks that, you think, kind of like back when the Crash tier list was the thing and the long dirtle combo games happened, like that kind of environment, and the decks that did well, Tatiova, Ghost Armix, Is it Guild Mage, a bunch of those, and kind of I believe Dax was asking, what happened to those? Why are those decks not, putting up the numbers anymore? Is it something with the deck? Is it something with the metagame? Is it just people? So I guess I have my own thoughts, but I'll open the floor to you guys first to kind of share what you think.
I can probably I have thoughts about what happened to Tetiova.
Okay.
I think that Tetiova is, generally speaking, I think it's wildly unreasonably powerful. I think it was the first big format boogeyman, and I think it got itself into this reputation situation where anytime, like, everyone knew that the rule was kill the Tetiova. If there's a Tetiova that's on the table, make it dead before anything else happens, and then you deal with everyone else first. Like you murk the Tetiova, and then other people are the problem. She was the first priority, and so she, by virtue of having this reputation for being this incredibly strong deck, she just got hated off of tables over and over and over and over again. And because of that, people stopped playing her. People started playing decks that had like similar game plans but looked less threatening, like Gretchen. And Titiova just sort of fell out of favor. I think she's as powerful as Gretchen.
Ooh.
I think she's good.
Yeah.
I don't know about. I mean, they're different. Here, Chris,
They are
you
different.
talk before I jump in. I'll save my thoughts.
Well, I'll wait for Alk to finish. I have a different
is
commander
done.
I would like to go over. So actually, I would like to touch on Armix, because Armix is very near and dear to my heart, if you don't mind. But one of the reasons why I actually think that Armix is no longer prevalent in the format is because the requirements needed for Armix to survive have kind of gone away. So like back in the older days, we didn't have cards like Shore Up. We didn't have some of these protection spells that blue decks could have. But now we also have like these white decks that are also playing the whole suite of protection spells as well, like Apostle's Blessing, Stave Off, and the million other cards that are essentially identical, right? So this makes Armix very difficult to try to one for one a player. And typically it's just like you were saying before, right? We had these combo control decks. So Armix came out and it was able to kind of like free range against this. But now we have blockers. Now we have bodies. Now we have TPI, right? Now we have Abdo. Now we have these decks that continue to produce ground pounders to our Armix can no longer profitably attack into somebody. So, in if you guys don't know, I am a huge Armix head. I love me some Armix. Rakdos Armix, forever and a day. I'm still trying to make it work for the record. Failing miserably, but I am still trying to make it work.
Yeah, so I'll hop around now that we've talked about kind of those two specific. So Tadiova, I do agree with you, Dave. It's really powerful. It sees some play here and there. I think it just like didn't. It took a long time to adapt to the times, and like when it was aggro, like super heavy aggro meta, like Dargos and Guts. Tadiova just has a hard time overcoming that in general, right? It only has so many ways in blue-green to fight a board storm. It doesn't have a Wrath. It doesn't get breath weapons or pestilences or crypt rats or any of that stuff. It has echoing truth and like some bounce spells to try to like buy enough time, and it's gaining life. But Tadiova is still on the whole one of like the slower decks. It relies on getting a 5-mana commander in play and then doing stuff too. So it can ramp and it can get Tadiova out kind of early, but part of it was just slow and like that blistering speed for a while, like aggro wise, just like was too much to overcome. I've seen it more recently. People are speeding up all their decks, like combo decks, as of late. So they're playing more ramp. They're playing more mana dorks. They're playing more protection spells, like Gator mentioned. Like we're seeing people just like increase like how fast they're anticipating the games to go, and like adjusting everything accordingly. And I think Tadiova is doing a little bit better in there because there's less of the aggression, like on the life total, which is where Tadiova was getting burned a lot. And Tadiova gets to play a little bit of a harder control game because it gets to load up on more counter spells and have more mana open than lots of other decks, aside from maybe like the Freed from the Real decks who have a bunch of aura enchanted lands. So I do think Tadiova's in like a better spot now. There's not a lot of people playing it, at least in the games I'm seeing. I know I've played it a few times. Clay's worked on it. A handful of people have worked on it and played it. It's just not seeing as much play as like the Freed from the Real decks when you're thinking Simic combo at the moment. And I think Gretchen and Weaver specifically kind of like took the helm of the Simic combo decks. Like you said, they looked more unassuming. Like Gretchen was way better at looking unassuming than Weaver's, right? Because like it's just an 0-4 that just sits there. Like that was part of Gretchen's ability to just kind of like sit there and be ignored for a long time. Like it's not good to attack into an 0-4. And it has a lot more like chump blockers in the form of land untappers than Tadiova did. So it was able to gum up the board and dodge that aggression. And then with Armix and like Ghost Armix, so the board clogging goes against Ghost being successful because it's not connecting as often. It's not a given like it was when there were just Tadiovas and Izzy Guildmage decks roaming around that played like a total of 5 creatures across the pod. Like Ghost connecting is far from a given, and people are very afraid of Armix connecting. Like the political, you lose all political bargaining once you have an Armix in play, because everyone just assumes you may be able to say, hey, I'm going to take out this thing, but people are so worried about what you're going to do the next time you swing, and they got to act when you're tapped low or tapped out and kill it when they can, because if they let you, okay, you kill the problem thing now, but once you untap, you're a problem, and now they're maybe like the next in line and they miss their shot. So like it leads to some awkward lack of political ground to really like say, hey, we need this Armix, guys. It's all right, well, I'm gonna kill it with fire a few times, and then you're already like discarding cards to Armix. So like if you discard a card and your Armix dies, you're just down and you're not getting the Ghost trigger. So you're just losing cards left and right and not getting that engine established. You talked about Dargo Armix, like kind of the same thing. You're using a lot of resources on both your commanders, and they're both scary threats. So
Yeah.
no one wants any of them to stick around. So they just get, you're just like going negative on resources, and it hurts a lot the second either of those get removed. And so,
So,
oh, go ahead.
so Bobby, sorry to interrupt you. We have a comment in there by Mountain Headed, and the statement is stated as, "Are you still 1-for-1ing if you're taking the protection spell?" But you're actually not, because what's Armix is an attack trigger, and if they pro their creature, Armix is attacking into it because that's the target of the Armix, and then the creature gets to block Armix specifically. So you're not 1-for-1. It's actually about a 2-for-1 against Armix. So it's very detrimental, and then you need to be able to cast Armix again for 5. So
Yeah.
it really slows down the clock.
Yeah, because you're saving it from the trigger, and you're also then able to kill Armix in combat. So
Exactly.
they're down the card they discarded. They're down their Armix. You're down your protection spell. Yeah, it's a bad exchange of resources for the Armix player.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think part of that, there's just more creatures around than there used to be, which is good. At least, there's combat stuff. Okay, so Mountain Headed said Armix for protection spell. You're also trading the card you discard to Armix. Mountain Headed, I think, is the disconnect there. But like, there's just more creatures. So board states get clogged. There's pingers. There's untappers. There's tokens left and right. TPI, Abdel leave huge swarms of tokens on the field. Nadir,
Well, if you don't mind, Bobby, I'd love to hit you with a couple of these if you're up for it.
Yeah.
And you too, Alkadron. So Alkadron actually said this, I believe, in the first appearance he was in here with you guys for FNM, with talking about Clay bringing back Sir Conrad. And, that's one of the old head decks, right? Like, that was back in the days of the Armix era and Tatiova era, good old Sir Conrad. So, Sir Conrad's actually starting to come up and see play again. And I find it to be very interesting because that card is very warping to a lot of the games. And correct me if I'm wrong with some of these things, Bobby, but Sir Conrad is pretty able to do its deed on its own, right? Like, it could just kind of play the game without having anything else. No cards in hand, just lands Sir Conrad. It could kind of do the deed, correct?
Yeah, I mean, assuming no one kills it, but yeah.
Yeah, assuming no one kills it. But, like, it's not taking a bolt. It's not doing certain things. It doesn't die to, like, standard removal spells from, like, snuff outs and things like that the average deck has the potential to play. So, like, decks like Sir Conrad are coming back because they have kind of like an edge against some of the decks that currently exist, especially because Wizards, just like you said, is printing all of these new cards, all of these new creatures, but they're also printing all of these new edicts. And all of these new edicts make a card like Sir Conrad pretty incredible, which also continues to push cards like Armix kind of down in the dirt, right? Because now we have like perfect curves of cards like Innocent Blood. Tithing Blade is the new one, right? And we keep getting the downshifts like Demon's Disciple because we already had the Flesh Bag. And our curve for these edict effects is now 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Like, it's pretty disgusting when you look at it as a whole. Where cards like Armix, we're not getting new Madness cards. Yes, that breaks my heart a little bit because Madness is my favorite.
Madness is my favorite.
But we don't get those. That's not something they're just pushing in every set, right? But cards for Sir Conrad are. That's why Blink spells and all of these cards we're continuing to get, like the dual Ren Resolve effects, right? Are pushing these other decks forward and kind of pulling these other ones back. What are you guys' thoughts on that one?
That seems pretty accurate. I watched Conrad do things when people first started experimenting with Conrad in the PDH scene. Blake used to say a lot of the times that Conrad just plays. He said he tried to call it. It's not really magic. You're playing on completely different axes than anyone else, and it does, like you said, it makes it really hard to interact with. Like he's not going to catch a bolt. He's not going to catch a cast down or a doom blade. Like he's pretty hard to deal with, and he has all kinds of new toys. And like even outside of those new toys, like Dax said, he's very self-contained. You can just do Conrad things with Conrad by himself, and you kind of don't care what other people are doing when that happens, and that lends itself really well to this sort of like greedy, low interaction meta that I think we find ourselves in now. And also, it's just we keep on getting these new toys. I saw the spoiler for what is it? Murder at Karlov Manor. We're getting another edict there. This one's a 2-mana edict. So yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Well, so let me piggyback off you a little bit. So you kind of said greedy, right?
Yeah.
But like Sir Conrad is kind of like the opposite of that, right? Because just like I was saying, like you get Innocent Blood. Now we're getting another 2 mana. So now we get Tithing Blade and we get this new card. So now we have 1 mana, 2 2 mana, 2 3 mana, 2 4 mana, 2 5 mana. And we're only adding to this number. So this is one of those decks that's like, if you think creatures should exist, good luck to you. Because none of these creatures,
Yeah.
like, people won't have bodies. People are not going to have, like, you need to be TPI, right? You need to be one of these decks that could produce ample amount of tokens relatively quickly to be able to survive edict after edict after edict after edict.
Yeah. I think Conrad is very controlling. Yes.
Yes.
And I think that like I think that the greedy meta means that like people aren't very well equipped to sort of deal with that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I think that the last time I talked to you, Gator, you said that your Abdel list only had 2 counterspells. So if Conrad goes, you know,
Unchecked.
Arms
Perfect
of
word.
Hadar, and then Arms of Hadar followed by Fleshbag, like no one's gonna stop that. They're just gonna lose.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with how consistent the pressure could come from Sir Conrad, which is
Yeah.
really impressive, right? Like, I'm very excited to see a deck like you said it, a controlling deck. But this is not like a little bit here sprinkled there, sprinkled here. This is like turn 1 nothing, turn 2 nothing, turn 3 nothing, turn 4 nothing, turn 5 nothing. You're not developing a board state against me. I am nuking the field forever, especially with cards like Tortured Existence, right? Like the synergy here is beautiful. And I'm very excited that Wizards is kind of assisting us with this like dynamic of kind of repeating some of our cards, which is technically good and technically bad. I will give up that it's not always the healthiest thing. But a deck like that starting to appear in the meta, I find to be very healthy.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see what Conrad does moving forward.
I kind of like building. Well, I guess this is less related to Conrad, more related to the phenomenon we talked about with Tadiova and Armix, and kind of part of why they saw less play or maybe not as popularized and needed to change, like the political component. And I don't know how long we want to talk about it. I know we want to jump into some games too, but like the political aspect of those decks just has changed over time based on the other decks that exist in the format. So, and I think being able to be aware of that and navigate like the political landscape of a game is super important. I know Gator likes to give me guff all the time because I think that's an important part of the game. He doesn't disagree. It's just like that's one of the things. Like I'm usually talking a lot in games. He's talking a lot in games. I don't know how often. I mean, even in our game we played the other night, you were doing a little bit of deflecting here and there. Everyone does
Yeah.
it, right? Like that's kind of how you have to survive and like try to get people to sway their actions to favor you, and so kind of like politics comes into play no matter you're talking CPDH to floor meta to and everything in between. Like politics is coming up at all those tables, and I'm curious how you guys like approach like when you're playing a game. What are your approaches to it? Like my thought, I'm usually playing a combo deck, and I know I'm playing a combo deck. Everyone knows I'm playing a combo deck, so I'm scary, right? Like people don't like combo decks, and want the combo player to die. So most of my time I'm spending trying to look not scary because I want to just like pull my win kind of out of nowhere, and then also like pointing to other people who are scarier at that point in time than I am to just take some heat off for the moment. Easier said than done. Doesn't always work, but sometimes it's important, and I'm curious how you guys approach it. My focus is never lying and making sure just everyone understands like why people are threatening when. Obviously, trying to shift attention away from me at the same time, while also acknowledging that hey, I am scary, but I'm maybe like 2 pieces away from winning, and this person's 1. Like I'm scary, but they are scarier. So let's worry about them first, and then we can go back to worrying about me. And hopefully we've forgotten about being scary by that time. So how do you guys approach, or how do you attack politics? How do you think about it if you actively think about it?
You want to take this one first, Alkadron?
Sure. So overwhelmingly, the games that I play are not competitive. They are casual games. In casual games, for me, the things that really irritate and frustrate me the most are when a player like doesn't want to, like a player has great attacks and they don't attack anyone because they don't want to annoy people, or the players are gonna like someone gets attacked and then they get really salty that they got attacked. Like that kind of behavior is always very irritating to me. So when I'm playing casual games, like I many of you have seen me on stream do this. I make this gesture. Someone's thinking about where they're going to attack, and I'm like, please, me. I love taking damage. Let it be me. I want to be the guy who takes his damage. Just because like that helps diffuse that like really awkward casual salt situation, I think, in a way that's good, and it kind of creates this atmosphere where everyone's just gonna no one really cares. When I play competitive, I'm very much with Bobby. I'm very honest about whether or not I am a threat, and I try to point out when other people are threats as well. I was playing a game a little while ago against I was on Bird Horse, someone was on Weavers, and then there was another player on Bobby wasn't in it. Lobert was in it. Lobert was on Sphinx Summoner, and then the 4th player was on Lagrella. And so I came out. I had a really strong start with Bird Horse, and I was beating down the Weavers player, and I was spending my counter spells to prevent the 2 combo decks from going off. And then the Lagrella player just kept on exiling the bird and the horse with Lagrella just over and over again. And I kept on asking him, like, okay, like, that's fine. I'm tapped out from stopping the combo. I can't stop this, but, like, please tell me what's your plan for stopping the combo?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I don't have one. That's not important.
That's one.
And then we lost a combo. And I was like, please have threat assessment. What's happening here? What are we doing? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, were you just exiling the bird because you can? Like...
That's what
Please think about this more carefully.
Yeah, I asked. That's probably one of like the most common questions. I mean, like I feel like I say it when I'm like irritated more often than not. Like so, it probably comes off a type of way sometimes. But like, all right, like if you're messing with me and my plan for dealing with this person, and I'm actively telling you this is my plan for dealing with this person, I'm gonna ask, what's okay? So what's your plan to deal with that? Since
Right.
like if you're dealing with my way of stopping it, I'm assuming you're also going to be able to stop them in addition to stopping me. And if you aren't, then we're going to have some problems because we're going to just lose. And like, it's tricky because Aranus Urchin, I can talk about, for example, recently. Like, I was playing a game and like I was keeping like the combo player in check. And then the mid range player was just like, I'm going to blow up your street urchin a bunch. And I'm like, okay, what are you gonna do about the combo player? And they're like, combat, and then attacked me. And I'm like, so nothing, cool.
This
um,
is not the solution you think it is, friend.
yeah, and like I get it. Like Air in the Street Urchin's scary. I understand that. And if it means like, negotiating some type of, whatever, I'd rather go down that path and have that conversation as opposed to, not talking through things, not having a plan, and then losing when there was some plan that was established already.
Yeah.
But yeah. What say
Yeah,
you, Gator?
I mean, it's pretty difficult overall, though. Like, kind of piggybacking on what you guys are saying, it really is difficult to have that threat assessment. That's what makes certain archetypes very hard to pilot, right? If you're looking at aggro, you have to have perfect threat assessment. You have to know which player you're supposed to be killing and understand why you're doing it to that player specifically. And if you've chosen wrong, you lose the game for it, right? So there are so many dynamics that are very, very difficult to understand in our format, especially because we're newer still. We still have like that new car smell. We're like so many of our decks are just starting to come up, and we still have decks that are like Malcolm and Arden, right? That's a good example. How often do you see that deck in the wild? But it randomly shows up, slays some people, goes away back in its cave, right? So like the decks like that exist in our format. So it's very difficult to be like, okay, I know these three decks. I could beat them. And then some random Joe comes in with this like random thing and wins. So it's very difficult to be able to assess certain things if you don't know what they're doing. So no matter what's the word I'm looking for? No matter how much you know, something's always going to surprise you. So we have to really like take it all with like a grain of salt and talk to the table. I think the biggest thing is like actually truly being like, "Hey, I could do this. Will you allow me to do it?" If that player says no, we're kind of just at odds and we have to accept it because I've also been into those same similar situations as you guys where I've been like, hey guys, my game plan is to stop this player. Let me stop them. And they're like, yeah, but then you beat us the next turn. Yeah, oh, I get that, but they're winning now. So let me stop it. No. Then we lose. Yeah, then we lose. And I'm going, well, that's kind of a weird concept. Do you not think so? Like,
Well, that's the king making conversation. Like, I mean,
yeah.
and I don't know. I personally don't care to get into that conversation.
I agree. I
But
agree.
like, it's tricky, right? Like, if you know you're dead to the following person and you're also dead to this person, like, you're picking who. I don't know. It's tough. I know Clay and I had an experience about that with that at RIW, which was amusing, and we talked about, and it. I mean, it didn't end up mattering, but it was an interesting like thought experiment. Like, so like it comes up, but yeah, I mean, like part of it, it, the political aspect of the game leads to some really awkward situations. Some, what's the word I'm thinking of? Contentious maybe situations at times. And
So,
like that's part of the game.
so can I hit you with this one real quick, Bobby?
Go nuts.
So also too, a lot of people perceive people for what they are in the casual games on the outer sphere, right? Without being in the tournament atmosphere, right? So like me as an example, I'm really like lax and very kind of whatever when I'm playing just casual games. But when I get into a tournament, I'm like, no, you're not taking that back. No, you may not. No, you said pass. I will not reverse this. We are in a tournament setting. This is when we should be playing like tight, right? As, you know, as we say. But you get two different like personas of people, which I think is relatively common for a lot of us. I know Clay, I know a few other players in the community that are very much like that, to where they're like kind of relaxed on the outer sphere, but when it comes to the tournament setting, they're very tight to the point. Okay, this is this. If I make the mistake, I also make the mistake, which trust me, I have made the mistake many, many times, but you know, you get two different people sometimes and two different attitudes when it comes to like playing the games where you're learning your deck and then going to a tournament and then playing your deck.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's less of a I mean, I guess it has political implications, like in the game, but like, I mean, I guess once you establish that, like, it's pretty like straightforward. Although I've had situations, where missed triggers come up, and depending on the rule set, it's up to the majority of the table, and sometimes the majority of the table can let it happen still. So, it varies. I mean, it just kind of varies, and like, tournaments are a whole different monster than like open games, and are a whole different monster. CPDH games are a whole nother monster than casual games in terms of like the different kinds of dynamics that can come up, but they all boil down to very like, I think very similar like core like things of just like, hey, threat assessment needs to be considered. Masking what I'm doing is something I'm trying to do, and deflecting. But I think
I,
it's on everyone to like know what everyone else is doing.
I,
Take what hidden information you have, digest it, and then make sure you know what you're doing when you're taking actions, and like have reasoning for them, because people will call you out, and if you don't have one, you'll run into some very unfun results sometimes. So
yeah. I see you there with Pooch 1. I have Pooch 2.
Yeah. He's excited for the snow.
Mine wants her ball. So, and her throat scratches.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess I know we want to jump into some games here soon. Do any of you guys have anything you want to touch on a little bit more before we dive into games, or?
I would love to jump in a game.
Yeah, let's do some games.
All right. There's the first game is, I don't want to say it's wrapping up because I don't know, but we'll jump over to this game that's going on. Let me do a little swappy swap, and then this game, it's been going on for a little bit, but and let me share my screen for you all. All right, so we just talked about not seeing Tatiova, and here she is. So
very exciting.
That's a good-looking Tatiova, too.
Uh-oh. Which one is it? That's exciting.
All right, so we have Beach by God on Mystic Enforcer. We have Jonathan on Tatiova. We have Lotad on Phalanx Leader. And we have Puzzlebox on everyone's favorite Gretchen Titchwillow. So, yeah, this is a good fun pod.
What turn does this look like?
Yes.
They're very interesting.
It's apparently turn 6 according to Puzzlebox's screen,
wow.
if that's correct. But all right, so I'm gonna put up the little vote here. But looking at the board state, it looks like what is this? Alms, anoint.
No,
One of
that's
the three cards.
prevent the 3 damage to any creature card.
Yeah,
With buyback.
yeah,
It's very important because you could target, pay the 3 mana, buy it back to continue to target your Phalanx Leader.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a great card in Phalanx Leader.
All right. So who do you guys have winning this game? I know we're joining kind of later than we normally do, but
It appears that it's Lotad's turn currently, and he kind of just laid into Jonathan here. I know Puzzle's incredibly experienced playing against aggressive decks. You're welcome, Puzzle. So my vote is going to be Puzzle. He knows how to play against them.
I would love to see Tetiova win here. I'm a huge Tetiova fan, and I want to see Tetiova get success. What kind of worries me is that people are like, I feel like there's threat assessment happening. Like I see Puzzle's board. Puzzle has more lands and land untappers online than Tetiova does right now, and Puzzle's on a full hand. Jonathan's got 2 cards left in hand. And if people are seeing this and they're still going for Tatiova first, I think that's a really like that to me feels like validation of everything I said at the start of this podcast,
yeah,
where Tatiova just gets hated out of games at a like a weirdly disproportionate rate over Gretchen.
But it's really interesting, though, isn't it? Like, a lot of what we spoke about is actually going on in this match, right? Like, we have the very aggressive deck here, right?
Yeah, I mean,
go
like
for it.
Tatiova is not close to comboing. Like Mystic Sanctuary isn't live. I mean, like you need Drake and Archaeomancer. You don't have the mana for that. Like Tatiova is so far away. You talked about the hands like empty. Life total was at like already low last turn when Lotad attacked. It looks like. Meanwhile, Gretchen was like drawing a full grip and like had like kind of flimsy like creatures, all things considered. Only one untapper, although I think one got bounced. But yeah, I mean, like attacking Gretchen is like perfectly fine there. You're not losing anything to Gretchen absorbing damage. Gretchen's just absorbing damage, and yeah, I mean, like Dave said, like it was kind of like we were seeing exactly what happened. Like Gretchen, like just having an 0-4 in play. Oh, here we go.
Is Puzzle going for the win?
Yeah, Puzzle is trying to win with immobilizing ink. So,
So hopefully the hand in Jonathan counters this.
although he needs another mana enchantment, he doesn't have it yet. But I mean, he has a full grip. He could have the. He could have.
Yeah, yeah. Once he untaps. So.
Yeah, because this is not actually positive at the moment.
Okay, so we got a hard counter spell. Feeling kind of good. This is interesting.
But yeah, like I think people just see the 0-4 and like even though they like aren't gonna lose anything by attacking into the 0-4, I think they kind of like get so in their head and they're like, well, I don't want to miss out on damage I could have, so they don't attack into it. And then Gretchen just gets to keep on plugging along, drawing cards, ramping, and then all of a sudden they have like 20 mana and can fight their way through anything and everything. So,
is this a reclaim? Oh wow!
Yeah, reclaim after the counterspell happened. And the cool part about Gretchen is you can just put it right back on top. Getting a step through though.
Oh, this is interesting. So you're just gonna be able to go get the what is it called, Bobby? The 3 mana creature?
Yeah, Galvanic Alchemist is gonna.
Yeah. So do we have a way to draw the card and win the game currently, or no?
Yeah, so he has 6. He has 10 mana available. So.
So 3/3. Yeah, we have the win here.
Well, so 10. You put a
We
land
draw
in
it.
place, you're at 11. So you're at 7.
Oh, we
he's
have a
just-
Quarian Ranger. No, we have a Quarian Ranger. You return the land, untap it, trigger, untap our creature. you're gonna net an extra 4, so you'll be able to draw the step through and get it, win the game. Yeah. Well, go puzzle. Go puzzle ranger.
Maybe there's a foil. That's like the only thing I could see happening here. But Jonathan doesn't have enough cards.
So realistically here, if we're looking at the life totals, so I'm assuming that low 10 has been doing the blunt of the damage here in this game. And even if he did all of the damage total towards puzzle, still would not have won the game here. Like, still would not have stopped puzzle with the aggression. Because it's appearing that Mystic Enforcer is just starting to come online. Because this is what, turn 6, you said?
Beachbot has done 8 commander damage to Gretchen. So,
really?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I don't know if that's entirely true. Like, if all 25 of that damage from Jonathan was pointed at puzzle would be dead, or had to like block awkwardly, maybe lost a creature along the way, and like had to do something differently.
I mean, it looks like there's interaction that happened on Jonathan's side as well. Like there's
yeah, like a lignify.
I think he resculpted his own mana dork into a 4/4. I think to have a blocker.
Yeah.
Like if there had been, and I like this. This I think
assumptions.
this is assumptions, but I mean if these assumptions are accurate, this to me is like feels like a big failure of threat assessment. Like Tatiova is not a threat right now, but people are still putting a lot of pressure on Tatiova. Puzzle, huge threat, getting ignored.
Yeah. And I mean, like, when you have 2 combo decks at the table, it's tough, right? Like, you want, and this is like the plight of the aggro player, which is why you do not see me playing aggro ever. Like, you got to pick one. Spreading your damage is kind of awkward because you just kind of leave both in a spot, and like, you know, Phalanx Leader wasn't like in that example, like you're not killing anyone in one shot yet. Like you still are a few turns away from having like a board that developed.
Yep.
But yeah, like it's you know, Tatiova took all of the heat there, and you know, Mystic Sanctuary not being online makes that deck very like not scary. Only having 2 islands in play, like I could not be less afraid of Tatiova. Like it could still maybe pull off a Drake thing, but it needs High Tide to do it at that point to have enough mana. Like, and
well,
you just gotta like know, like Gretchen is a free deck. Free decks are just going to win fast. Like Gretchen can always win faster than Tatiova can. Tatiova is slower. It's just how the deck works. You know, the Flicker combo takes just a ton of mana. You know, having Mystic Sanctuary online requires at least 4 lands in play and Tatiova in play, which is a 5-drop, and an untapper. Like, it's not bad. The decks are good, but there's just like not. Tatiova can't defend itself, so it looks like an easier target, and it just like gets eaten alive.
This is exactly why I think that people don't play Tatiova anymore.
Yeah.
Because
so
like even when it's not the threat, people treat it like the threat, and it just gets yeeted out of games like disproportionately.
Yeah, I agree with that. The awkward part about that is that I understand why an aggro player would go at Tatiova though. Like if you just look at it from like a base level, you're like, hey, you're gonna gain life. Hey, you're gonna do this. Hey, I need to attempt to stop you. But it's really difficult, in my opinion, to try to figure out that, and this is kind of what we were talking about as well. Like, it's incredibly difficult to play an aggro deck when you have to be like, I have Tatiova and Gretchen at the same table. How do I pick the player to go after?
Please, please trust me. I know exactly what that's like. I got into the CPDH scene when the CPDH scene was Crash, Yalaran, and Mentir, who all have Tetiova decks. And
Yeah.
I brought Bird Horse into that scene, and I was like, okay, how do I do threat assessment with what was in that meta essentially an aggro deck?
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been there. It is a tough call to make, but
Yep.
I think we
Can,
need to be more intentional about it.
can I ask you guys a question? Because
Yeah.
it's kind of like we're kind of coming to this like peak of these statements. It almost seems like, as the example here with this game, low tad should go, "Hey, Mystic Enforcer player, we will figure out on the second turn of this game which one is not missing a land drop, which one has the correct mana, which one's doing these things. Let's go at that player."
Yeah, I think the
Right?
aggro, yeah, the non-combo decks need to work that out with
And
themselves.
yeah, and kind of have some sort of like camaraderie, right? As awkward as that is to say that. Be like, "We're gonna do it." and point at a player. Now, you could choose wrong as part of the problem, but you try to use the first 2 to 3 turns of the game being like, "Hey, they got the right colored mana. Hey, they're progressing. Hey," and maybe potentially figure something out with this player, and then kind of look at each other at the end of the game and be like, "We're going at each other now."
Yeah.
I think what aggro players do, and like I've played aggro decks, and I don't anymore very often because of this. You're. I think they just get so hung up on like I'm losing so much of my damage I can put out by this random like 04 or 1/3 that can block and like absorb damage, not realizing that like that is actually like going to make a huge difference. Like, yes, you're not getting as much damage through as you could on the other player, but what you're getting through now puts them at a lower clock that, like you said, with the teamwork, maybe you're getting through like an extra, you're eating 6 damage a turn cycle, but that's shaving like, a turn or two off their life than if their existence in the game that had you, attack the other person instead, right? Like, there's a real cost to that, and I think understanding that Tatiova is never going to be faster than Gretchen, like, I don't think, like, on average, Gretchen is just faster. Like, that's just how Freed works. Freed can just win, and so knowing that, like, you should focus on the decks that are faster, because Tatiova is never gonna have the board of established blockers. Gretchen is just gonna play more and more untappers that are just gonna get in your way, and they can be pseudo expendable. And then, like, if you don't pressure Gretchen and get rid of Gretchen early, they lose it once they pay 4 mana the next time. They pay 6 mana the next time. Gretchen doesn't care about recasting Gretchen. Like, they have the mana for it. So, like, you gotta, like, if you want to get through and you can kill Gretchen reliably, there's a world where, like, if you're doing that every turn, you price them out and they stop board developing because they just have to keep reestablishing Gretchen. I'm not saying killing Gretchen, generally speaking, is the way to get them, but when you're the aggro deck and you need to get through, that can slow them down and hamper them a little bit to let you get in enough damage while they're not like just out racing you because they're a faster combo deck.
That seems well said.
But I know this game just started. I don't know if you guys want to take a quick little break because we've been talking for a hot
Yes.
minute. So we'll go on a quick break and then we'll come back and probably do another game and see how it all unfolds. So
Yeah, let's make it happen.
the sky, it rises beneath us. Our old wings cannot carry us.
All right, and we, I think, are back. So,
Think
we are back. I need to turn off the
But-
Spotify music though.
the kind of thing you want to
From
be
outer
sure about.
space?
Look, it'll, the people will let us know if I messed up. Trust me, and I usually do.
We are for the people.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But yeah, so we're back. We're with the same group of people, but a whole new slew of decks. So we got Puzzle on Teshar. We got Jonathan on Wilson and Feywild Visitor. Beachbod is again on Mystic Enforcer, and Lotad again is on Phalanx Leader. So some of the same, some new.
Let's see. Who do you? So my assumption is Lotad here is going after Puzzle, and yeah, that kind of confirmed it. That was quick. Wow. Okay. Cool.
Man, you're good.
Who do you think Beachbot is actually going to be going after here? I mean, this is just a tap out for Teshar, right? Yeah, simple, clean. We have the Standard Bearer for protection. We got the Suture Priest for life.
Ooh,
Clean, simple turn.
We got Trying Casually Games rating with 4 people. Thanks, Trying Casually Games. Yeah, just tapping out for Teshar. I mean, the good thing for Puzzle here, like Teshar, this is not a pod with lots of removal. So you can kind of run out Teshar, and a Standard Bearer is probably going to do enough to save the day. So,
Well, yeah, that's actually a pretty big deal, right? Like, Lotad's deck literally revolves around targeting its commander.
yeah.
And that Standard Bearer is going to just cold turkey Lotad here, which is pretty problematic. But I'm very interested to see who Jonathan goes after. We're not too worried about the Mystic Enforcer since our Wilson has reach. So, but you don't want to get the Teshar player dead due to that Standard Bearer just kind of cold turkey and Lotad here. What are your thoughts, Alk? What do you got for us, man?
I didn't realize that Jonathan was on Wilson at first. I glanced up and I saw green and blue, and I was like, oh, it's Tetiova again. Why is it getting gang beaten? Yeah, I'm really not sure what Mystic Enforcer does about Wilson.
Yeah, it's pretty rough here. I honestly don't know who the driver's seat of this game is. I'm kind of saying Puzzle, but the table kind of wants to leave him alone, excluding Lotad, because it just cold turkeys Lotad.
Yeah, I mean, like, Jonathan's just gonna keep making a bunch of dragons and like hurting himself from the Suture Priest, but it'll be enough at a certain point where it just doesn't matter anymore. And like Lotad's gonna be pressuring Puzzle the whole time. So I think Jonathan and Beachbot just gotta like figure out who's gonna kill who amongst the two of them, and then like have a plan for Lotad after Lotad finishes Puzzle, if Lotad can. I think, like you said, I think Puzzle's in a good spot if the other two ignore him and like Lotad is the only one focusing him. Just because like Lotad has a bit of a board, but it's not the most exciting board. I think it's what, a 2-2, a 2-2, a 2-2, and a 3-3. So
Yeah.
if Puzzle can just get to the point where he can just like loop blockers or gain some life, like Lotad's gonna be, attacking into a bunch of just stuff that Puzzle does not care about at all, and just like gets to recur it over and over and over again.
Well, we're kind of there at that point, right? Teshar's active, and we haven't had a removal spell on the Teshar, hence why the Standard Bearer still exists. And from my perception, the Mystic Enforcer player went at Jonathan here, which is showing that Mystic Enforcer is trying to keep the body count down from the Feywild Visitor, which is fair. But
Yeah.
It's essentially on Lotad alone to do the deed to puzzle, which is with Standard Bearer and Suture Priest are essentially like two of the best targets you have in that deck. It's gonna be quite difficult to push through.
Yeah. I mean, he's still developing a board. Like, it's a bunch of little dudes, but if you get enough of those, the thing is, like, Lotad has no good attacks already. Like, you can get in with these guys, and it's what, a 9, I guess, which is not insignificant, but the 1/1s just die. Like, there's no good attack with a 1/1 at this point. So, I don't really know what the plan can be.
What is this target here? What is that card that he used to target? Because it's interesting, because if that doesn't say target creature you control, the Standard Bearer should be taking this.
I have no idea what. I mean, I
It
assume Puzzle would have caught that, and Lotad would have caught that, but maybe not. I can't tell what the card was, though. I assume someone would have caught it, so. Yeah, Suture Priest, Will saying Suture Priest is so funny as Feywild Visitor. It really is. Like, it's kind of awkward. It's going to punish Jonathan for attacking. And, like, Jonathan doesn't... Jonathan's board is pretty underwhelming, all things considered, right now. So... Ooh, it looks like Puzzle's going to throw away the Standard Bearer to maybe, like, divert some of the Lotad's attention elsewhere.
So I looked up the card. It was Homestead Courage, which is specifically target creature you control. So yeah, like super kudos to them. Like that's, I'm not too familiar with that card, but it is a perfect card in a deck like this, right? So
I have never read that card until this very moment. So
I run it in Furia. It's very good.
yeah,
Sentinel's Eyes at home.
yep, exactly.
my favorite mono white heroic card is Pollen Remedy.
Oh wow, really? Golden Moth. Oh, Pollen Remedy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only cool if you have multiple heroic creatures because you can hit up to 6 of them. But
How many heroic creatures do you have, Bobby?
well, I played mono white heroic 60 card for a little bit, so I had a lot.
I see.
Lagana Bland, Trailblazers, and Wingseed Riders, and I don't remember what all of them are, but they were plenty.
That's because you have 8 of them. Good old 60 card.
Yeah. All right. So we got Puzzle, Ghoul Callers, Belling, getting a Workshop Assistant, playing a Network Terminal.
Very interested to see how this continues to go. Teshar being in seat 1 is absolutely fantastic for Puzzle here, but I cannot tell what that card is. What is that?
Caregiver.
Oh, that is fantastic here, actually. It's like any creature, so we have the Ornithopter of Paradise up to be able to pop. So that's pretty cute. That's going to give us back Standard Bearer if needed. So I like this. I like where this is going. The life total is going to increase from the Suture Priest. So
Puzzle's in a rough spot though now. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure if Lotad's going to divert attention or not. Maybe shouldn't.
Well, it kind of depends where these other 2 players are going to go, right? Like if they've deemed Puzzle the threat and Jonathan also decides to send the team at Puzzle, that's one thing.
Jonathan doesn't really have a team though. It's a Wilson, a Feywild, and an Elvish Mystic. So it's not doing much of anything. Like Wilson gets in for 2. That's it. So
fair. The biggest hand at the table though, which is interesting. 6 in hand.
Yeah.
I have not seen the caregiver before, truth be told. This will be the first game I've seen Puzzle play that creature.
I never know how Teshar lines work. I know they need a sack outlet and a recursion piece, and then it starts getting annoying. And Puzzle has a bunch of those right now. They have He has the workshop assistant. He has the caregiver. I mean, he's not going infinite with how things are, but it's about to get gross. That's for sure. Arachnoform.
Yeah, we have a pirate bear, the best bear.
This is
Yep, all creature types, and +2/+2.
Yeah,
And Peach.
which may be relevant. This is about to be a real suited up bear.
Bears with pants. That's what I'm here for.
And now it has a snake
Oh.
cobra. So
I am liking this. So now, where do you think you're gonna send this?
I mean, I think you send it at the guy you know you can get through, and that's Beachbot. But
Is that where we're going? Yeah, I
I
think
mean, you
that's
can also
fair.
trample through the puzzle, but I don't.
Well,
I mean, like,
I
would let
want
Lotad
low
just stab this
tad.
problem. Yeah.
Exactly. Like I want low tad to finish. Oh, well, I guess not. We sent it at puzzle. You see the well, I guess okay. So to be fair, Wilson has reach, but I was about to say when Mystic Enforcer gets fully online, it gains flying and being able to swing in lethal, maybe double strike, all that jazz. It's very problematic, but
Well,
not
I
with the
guess
fairies.
I forgot about Feywild too. So because Beachbot was tapped out, creature wise, he is through the Elvish Mystic Beachbot's way, and like, you know, Wilson's probably gonna get through with puzzle because he'd have to throw away his whole board to block all that damage, and that doesn't seem worth it for him. So this
Exactly.
gets the most fairy dragons.
Well,
Which makes
so
some sense.
what's interesting here, now that we have Loveted here, the Phalanx leader player, with such a massive board and these tokens not stopping, are we going to see a shift in Lotad's assessment here, trying to push towards Jonathan?
I don't know. I do not know. Like, Lotad probably, like, now that the board is scary enough, probably doesn't have to send everything at Puzzle, but he's to send enough to make it, like, a devastating impact on Puzzle's board.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting here. That Suture Priest is doing a lot of work for Puzzle. If it didn't exist, Puzzle would be essentially 2 to 3 life right now. Like these Fey tokens, like just every creature that continues to exist is assisting Puzzle.
No, Suture Priest is only gains some life off of his creatures, and it's makes everyone else lose life off of their creatures.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I did.
It's different from Soul Warden.
You're right. I messed that up. I've been on the Soul Warden train. I'm attempting to assist friends of mine with Viscopa.
Could be fun.
What happened here? What was put on? Is this a fight spell of some sort?
No, that was just Monsterfy. Retrace, +4/+4. We're just shooting something up.
I could not tell what the art was due to the glare.
Yeah, it's a big.
Toad.
It's a big old frog.
Yeah. I like it. Where is it going is the question. I think he's going at Lotad. Lotad's fixing the board like Let's see.
There's a chance here. I don't think it's gonna happen, but there's a. Okay, it looks like Puzzle's getting attacked. Like, there was a chance where I thought Puzzle would just like start to get ignored here, because like everyone's like, oh, everyone else is getting scary. It's like we're in that like arms like creature board state arms race where it's just like, all right,
yep.
I know I was really worried about Puzzle, but now everyone else is a little scarier. So like, someone will finish off puzzle. So I'm gonna worry about this other person, and then like people just forget to ever kill the combo player, which happens. I mean, you just get distracted by other people doing other things. I don't know if that'll happen for puzzle's sake though.
Yeah, to be fair, puzzle is out of this game at this point now, right? Like little I mean, it has to have the perfect cards, and everybody's board state is
Puzzle's
somewhat
not dead till he's
absurd.
dead.
Sure, I agree. Puzzle is the #1 player to win it like what, one life. It was a meme with Islane for forever and a day. So
Yeah.
all right, I am very interested to see who Lotad deems the threat here. So as you said earlier, we're going to allow Lotad to go into puzzle here if you're Jonathan, but Jonathan swung at puzzle, which kind of gives the opportunity of Lotad to turn the sights, since the other two players have also deemed puzzle the threat. I may turn my sights if I were in Lotad's shoes, especially in seat 4. I may look at Jonathan or may look at Beachbod, just
I don't think
because.
I would care about Beachbot. Like, you just have numbers on your side. Beachbot has one creature you care about, and it's the commander.
That's fair.
Jonathan's tokens are like gonna be annoying. Once you kill more players though, like those tokens stop mattering. But Jonathan or Lotad needs to get to the point where he has at least something that can reasonably block Wilson over and over again, profitably. Because otherwise, Wilson can start just eating his board, and then we're in some dire straits potentially.
So yes, so Mizu actually brings up a good point. The standard bearer is gone, and that truly does make Lotad change targets. Like it really does. I don't know. That's why it's so difficult for me right now. Kind of looking at this, it's like, Jonathan could just outright kill puzzle. So I'm kind of probably gonna push away and kind of look at Jonathan or look at someone else. Especially with two players at 22 and 29 and puzzle only being at 9.
Yeah, I think you send maybe something at Puzzle's way, just to keep some sort of clock on them. But I send all the things that are not gonna just get eaten by Wilson, Jonathan's way. The issue is that's really only Phalanx leader at the moment, unless you have some pump spells in hand. So.
All right, Alk, tell me if I'm wrong with this. I appreciate the all-in dynamic that Lotad has now given here, even if things are trading, just the whole squad.
Absolutely, especially with 3 mana up. If you're trying to trade something here, the risk that he just goes, whoops, here's a couple spells in the Phalanx leader. Actually, none of my stuff dies. That's a huge whoever's blocking this board has to do a lot of math right now.
Exactly.
Sure, don't take it.
You really get me, Bobby.
You do the math and tell me what I'm at. Thanks.
I mean, I appreciate this style of attack. Even if you have nothing, the threat of you having something, similar to what I discussed with you, Alk, the threat of me having counterspell is what's makes you afraid. I don't even have to have it. I just have to. You have to think I have it.
Yeah.
So. Okay, so we have 1 mana from what here? What was that? What is happening here?
Dax, you just
Oh.
always leave the combo player alone. The combo player is innocent and can do no wrong.
So Lotad did send a lot of the squad over at Jonathan. We have 2 fairy dragons and apparently Wilson doing some blocking.
It is good to know Wilson doesn't trade. Like, Wilson sticks around because there's totem armor on it right now. Um,
We have another pump spell. Feeling pretty good about ourselves. Okay. Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic here for Lotad.
we got a. Oh. Arrestor Zeal. Target creatures +2/+2.
Right.
The other part doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's flying during your main phase, so but it's just another pump spell, which is going to pump it and pump the squad. So yeah, this is beautiful.
Yeah, a vine stopped the buff of +2/+2 though, which could change some combat math, but probably not enough. Although I think the way Jonathan blocked, if all of that is blocking Phalanx Leader,
The
that does
entire
matter.
team.
Like,
Yeah, this
it's
is
going to turn into an unfavorable trade for Lotad.
well, we have one card in hand and we have
Yep.
oh. Okay, so we lost it.
Yeah.
That's not really that unfavorable. Like we dealt with the aura, we
Why
dealt with
did-
2 of the tokens, and the leader was dealt with.
Yeah, the leader should be dead unless I'm missing something. Which I would not put past me. There's a lot that happened that turn. So
Well, maybe I'm missing something.
assuming that Wilson double, like I interpreted that as like Wilson and 2 dragons blocking Phalanx Leader for 7 total damage.
Wow, it looks like Lotad really did send the squad that direction. So
Did Jonathan block all of it?
it appears that way.
Okay, yeah, so okay, yeah, that did happen. Phalanx Leader is dead. So I think they were just making sure all the damage was calculated correctly. And
Yeah, how much goes through is what I want to know. Because like losing the Phalanx Leader is
well,
acceptable.
Puzzle took a hit too because Puzzle lost an Ornithopter and
Oh, I
took
see, I
a
see.
chunk. So
Yeah.
um,
I mean, even in seat 4, which I would like to say is relatively impressive, even though, you know, a lot of the stuff is getting blocked, of course, but Lotad is really pressuring the table here.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
and
quite a board state.
and none of these decks have anything to do about it. Like, we're at another table without no black, no red, no board wipes. And even if we were, like, the things have now grown to the point where they are out of the range where those are relevant.
Yeah.
So Puzzle is like the scariest, I would argue, because he can still just combo. And I know I think Jonathan plays some combo and Wilson Feywild. Maybe I'm wrong. But
Being at 4 here, this is interesting. I think the table is about to switch their targets towards Lotad, especially since Lotad is just kind of slamming the table here.
Well, Lotad's shield's down now, so like everyone should probably turn side. I mean, I don't know. Everyone's probably going to turn sideways in some direction at Lotad. But like it's awkward because you do have to worry about the crackback, which is large. I mean, across all of them, I don't think they can kill Lotad. So,
well, like this is where like Beachbot really gets to shine, right? Like a lot of people been doing the deed, doing the stuff, and now you have this big 7/7 just kind of slamming through.
Beachbot also has a moment's piece in the yard, just waiting to like ignore a Lotad attack.
Yep. So what is this that Puzzle is currently doing? Okay, we're getting a blocker for the Mystic Enforcer, is what it appears to be.
Played Salvage Scout and got back in Ornithopter Paradise. Shriekhorn,
Yep.
milling some stuff.
So Beachbot has not changed targets. I honestly, I really would have gone at low 10 if I were Beachbot there because I like kind of shifting it. Just. Oh wait, is this?
Beachbot hasn't done anything. We're still on Puzzle's turn, so
Oh, I saw Beachbot like move
I think
things,
Beachbot
untap.
accidentally untapped at some point and like had to retap. So
Oh, I was under the impression that they were starting to attack, which I was really confusing me. And now, yeah,
now
it makes way
Puzzle's
more sense now.
now Puzzle's doing puzzle things. Got an Ornithopter, returned to Salvage Scout.
There's not enough here for it, is there? The outlet is a white mana, which there's no filter for.
Yeah. Puzzle's like close to assembling something.
Oh,
but
there
not
is a
there.
filter. Wait, no, the jack-o'-lantern has the exile.
Yeah.
So you lose the jack-o'-lantern filter.
It only filters once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has a giant bunch of blockers and can like do a bunch of loopy things on his turn to like turn some wheels. But I think he's just gonna be in the mill a bunch phase of the game and hope to mill something that finishes a loop, whether that's 1 or 2 more pieces.
See, this is what's hard without the commentary, or not the commentary, the talking amongst themselves, because I look away for 1 second with my pacing dog, and then I'm looking at the wrong player doing things.
We got Wilson tapping some mana. I mean, but this is like, I mean, it's funny. Like, you know, we talked about how, you know, if you look at you ignore the combo player. Look, you ignored Puzzle, and now he has 8 creatures in play. So, like,
Yeah, so isn't it relevant that this Teshar has not been taken off the table, though? Like, that kind of speaks volumes here.
I mean, it just goes to look. I mean, again, we're looking at like a mono white deck, a green blue deck, and a green white deck. These are not the decks that play lots of removal. So, like, once things hit the board, they're not likely to leave the board most of the time, which is why Lotad's board is terrifying if I'm anyone else at this table. But now, I don't know. I mean, I think Puzzle is still public enemy #1, but I don't know what anyone can do about it now. Like, this, like, salvage or scout looping, salvage scout looping thing, where you just, like, get to, like, rebuy a bunch of chump blockers for all the white mana you have is pretty gross.
Yeah, it's really impressive. You essentially have to go at Puzzle here at this point. So, I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, Beachbot is kind of hurting here. Still only with the 2 creatures.
Yeah, Beachbot also missing just a ton of land drops is not great. And the only land, they have a depletion land to play, which is also not exciting.
Well, there was an Edge of Autumn that was cast that sacrificed the land, trying to find something earlier, so...
Is that a Revive the Shire?
It is a Revive the Shire targeting a plains.
Oof. That's rough.
Yeah.
That is rough.
How you know you're in no fun land. Mizu believing in Lotad. Well, that's fair. Gingerbread does get to, for sure, get through to Puzzle, which is nice. Alright, and Mystic Enforcer. is going at someone. Looks like a Jonathan, and Jonathan just
Snap. Oh, what is this? Please let this be going at Teshar. Oh, I am hoping this is going at Teshar.
no, Cribs off the workshop
Yeah.
assistant. Then it's gone forever, ever.
That's fair.
I'm watching on the
is-
stream and I got attacked by an ad. What's going on, Teshar?
So Beachbod just crib swapped workshop assistant,
Oh,
which is
okay.
really, really good. That I mean,
Yeah,
Yep.
that'll do it.
Yep, that's really, really good actually. I did not catch that, so that is absolutely fantastic. The exile
That's
there is
exile.
yeah.
I mean,
So that'll
Salvage
stop the
Scout.
loop.
Salvage Scout still does some loopy things, but it's gonna be a lot harder of a time.
It's a changeling. We have a changeling in the house that looks like an amoeboid. I better have a smiley face. Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's how I do art.
That is pretty great. That looks
I
like
find
something
that-
that's every creature type. So
I find that to be it's a ditto, but I find that to be ironic because Beachbod is an artist, so they could draw beautiful things, and yet Puzzle's here scribbling a ditto. So
We love to see it.
yeah, Lithead's untapping. Lithead is a. I don't. Yeah, I mean,
quite a fierce board here.
the danger of Phalanx Leader is all these dice and moving stuff around. You knock them everywhere.
Yep. Let's see what we got here. So we could do the 4 for the leader, hope for a 1 mana card. Let's see what happens. I'm under the assumption we slam into Puzzle here. Oh, and we had it.
Ooh, that hyena umbra.
Yeah, so I don't think the totem armor is going to come into, be too much of a factor. Maybe I'm wrong, but
So Puzzle could block all of this?
except well, yeah. So you can't force through Ginger Brew anymore this turn.
No, tapped out.
Puzzle is hellbent and only has 3 cards in graveyard, but does get 2 extra looks with this Ghoul Collar spell and Shriekhorn. 3 if you include Network Terminal 2, I guess. So Puzzle will dig in pretty deep over the course of the next few turns if he is permitted to do so. But
Yeah, it's really interesting to see where Lotad decides to go. I feel that you're almost, because you're in seat 4, you're forced upon going towards Puzzle here, so.
What does that mean?
Well, so if you don't go at Puzzle and you stay neutral, Jonathan is still able to kind of lay into you and hit you hard, but you're quite healthy at a life total. So I feel like you could just throw the team and accept the pain from the next 2 players and hope for the best. But the table sees your intentions.
I don't think not going at Puzzle is neutral. I mean, you're still throwing giant things anyone's way. So
Well, it's just not going at Puzzle, but just not going at anyone. You're kind of just sitting back. But if you're sitting back, are you really doing the deed here?
I don't think
Oh,
you're
I
sitting
did-
back at all. I think
The
you're turning things
the-
sideways. It's just a matter of who you're turning them sideways at.
Yeah, the idea of Phalanx Leader not turning things sideways is completely foreign to me. The possibility had never crossed my mind, which is why I kind of took me by surprise.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I wouldn't fault Lotad for not attacking Puzzle here. I like if everyone starts focusing on you, you're scared. Like I'm not super worried about Beachbot again because Beachbot doesn't have the board to block you at all. But you have to worry about just like commander damage.
Yeah.
Same thing with Wilson too, though. So like, and I don't know, Lotad does have 6 Wilson damage already. So like, that threat alone is scary, especially when he's tapping. Like he's tapping out, he's not gonna have blockers for Wilson. So
Yeah,
I think you
exactly.
do need to pressure Jonathan a good chunk here if you're Lotad, but which he seems to be doing.
Oh, wow. He seems to really have done.
Yeah. So he put
Oh.
Jonathan to
Oh,
1.
holy
Oh, wow.
guacamole.
And now
Whoa.
if Puzzle wants to, Puzzle can finish the job, but
Whoa. Okay, was anyone expecting that?
Nope.
alright, so we got Milden excavated wall, Milda scale, and a Kami of false hope. That's gonna be huge.
Yep. Well, we only have 1 in hand, so sack, pop. Yep. Okay, fair. We're feeling great if we're puzzle right now. Kami in play?
Kami's not in play.
Wow.
Well, I
yet,
mean, Kami
but-
can come into play. Yeah.
Yeah. With Salvage Scout, does that put it on in hand or on top? It puts it in hand. So yeah, so you can get the scale at instant speed and get Kami at instant speed. So, I mean, Lotad is going to have an uphill battle against the other two because there's a Moment's Peace chilling. You have maybe just Kami forever from Puzzle now.
Yeah, this is quite difficult.
I think knowing Puzzle has Kami now, the team needs to kind of like, kind of what we're saying, like Puzzle just got ignored. Like finish the job because it's like Tesher is going to get to the spot where like it just is going to do the same thing over and over, and that same thing is not dying. And then eventually that same thing will be winning the game. So
What is this? Mill?
I think he accidentally put his library or his graveyard on top of his library.
Got it. Yeah, it's really interesting here because I don't know how Lotad's going to push through Puzzle here at this point. So yeah, sack, pop, bring back, get back. Yeah, this is beautiful here. The engine is online. Like, I don't know how you don't. Oh, you know what? Jonathan cannot create a fairy. Suture Priest stops him from winning.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Puzzle doesn't even have to attack. Just Suture Priest existing stops him. That's awful.
That's rough, Jonathan.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that is rough.
Rest in pepperonis, bud.
And this life total is not reducing from Puzzle here, from this Suture Priest.
Yeah, he just gets to do the thing where he digs a bunch with this Salvage Scout loopy shenanigans, and then I think we're far. Yeah, so you got the Flash Artifact, so he can just return Kami as needed. You probably just pass here. Jonathan just, he's just going for it now.
I would go for it now. You don't want to deal with any shenanigans they may have. Just get it done.
I mean, I'd be more worried about it eating something between now and when I need it than I would be worried about Grave Hate from these decks personally. So,
Yeah, fair. This one's pretty Are we gonna cast the creature? Okay, I'm assuming they've had the table conversation of please don't kill me. Or hoping Puzzle doesn't see it.
Nope, John is dead.
And
All right.
Beautiful.
oh yeah. Well, yeah. That was rough.
Yeah.
Poor Blue Wilson. Well, I hope Beach and Lotad here make some sort of agreement.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably not. I mean, Puzzle just doesn't have to care about Beachbod's turn this time around. So,
Ooh.
although this is good. See, like, this is why you leave the Kami not in play.
Okay, so what are we hitting? Are we hitting the... We have enough mana to recast a Teshar, so we need to hit Suture Priest. Yes, that's what we hit.
Apparently.
I'm digging these exile cards.
Yeah, Puzzle's able to sack the Suture Priest, though, so...
Yeah. So, do we just hit the Teshar there, then? That's what you're supposed to hit if you're able to sack something?
So, he's Hellbent, and if you get rid of the Kami, you force the Kami to be used now.
No, we have Ornithopter up for blocker still.
Sure, but
I think if I'm Beachbod, I hit the Kami and then I trust Lotad to do what's right.
correct. That's what I'm saying. You make Puzzle not have access to the Kami on the Lotad turn, and then you're not worried about Lotad because you still have your Moment's Peace chilling there. So you have 2 turns of just like combat. Like you need to find a way to buff Mystic Enforcer at some point, but like you have a free turn in your first in turn order, so you should be able to clean it up if you have a buff for your commander. But
I agree with you
guys. But now
guys.
it's like Lotad. Like, does Lotad even like try attacking Puzzle, or does he just like launch that Beachbod? Since Beachbod is not helping.
I would try to go make them use it. Right, they're hellbent, like you said. So, yeah, send the squad.
Oh, I think you split it up if I'm Lotad, because you got to be worried about commander damage from Beachbod.
All right, we're going to have...
Kami, is it just all damage this turn? So, yeah, it doesn't even matter. Maybe you can do enough to, like, Puzzle to, like, maybe convince him to let it through and then put him in a predicament next turn because it's doing enough to Beachbod, but that's probably not the case, so...
No, not with the shield sphere and everything else under the sun. It's very interesting. So many creatures. Oh, 2 blockers up? Okay, that was interesting. Just pause for dramatic effect. Got it.
Exactly.
Not the leader. I would have still sent it in just to... What do we have here? Prevent all damage. Haha. It looks like a fencing ace.
Fencing ace and a loyal Pegasus. Puzzle's gonna go get some lands out of his deck. His like 18 land deck or whatever ridiculously low number he plays.
28. Calm down. Calm down.
I mean,
28 lands is enough.
Obnoxiously low.
It's obnoxious.
I'm just saying, being in the driver's seat has been pretty easy this game. 5 lands.
I mean, this was also at a pod of decks without good chunks of removal. So
I mean, yeah, we have Beachbot being the removal police at this table.
yeah. Ooh, a flaming fist. That would have been disgusting for Beachbod in a way to end Lotad if they can ever deal with puzzle.
Agreed.
A flaming fist is such a sweet card. All right, puzzle. What you got? Pilgrim's Eye. So you go get a Salvage Scout. Salvage Scout, get an Arkham's Astrolabe. Arkham's Astrolabe to get a card and a Kami.
Yep.
I like that sequencing.
No, we're gonna keep sacking, bringing some more stuff.
Yeah, I guess you could do.
Yeah, I mean,
one
you're
more.
bringing back the Kami without a shadow of a doubt. Like the Kami is coming back. You with the mana you have available, you should be able to do it one more time.
Yeah, I don't know what all is in his yard. There's like 10 cards in there or something, but
So, here's a hilarious one for you guys. Is it salmon colored on Puzzle's board state, or is it salmon colored on Puzzle's board state?
I say salmon.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone say salmon until you just said it right now. So,
It's actually pretty common down here in Florida to say it that way. Yeah.
You crazy Florida people. You.
Florida man strikes again.
Yeah. All right.
So we have the Kami back.
Yeah. I mean, Puzzle only, like, if Puzzle somehow draws a dud, that's like his. Like, I guess he drew a few cards. Well, he drew a card. So, if there's ever a turn where he just, like, land, and, like, just bricks enough, he loses. But, well, he doesn't even necessarily lose because there's a billion blockers, but.
Oh, Hive has some input from the chat. They say that it's definitely salmon.
Yep.
Oh.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Because you can definitely. Yep. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I see an L, so Salmon. That's what I see. Just
Oh no. Hive, you need to clarify.
No, I think it's crystal clear.
Mm.
No clarification needed.
I'm impressed with what Beachbot has managed to do with 3 lands so far.
Yeah, Mystic
Like, I know-
Enforcer is scary.
Yeah, just casually a 6/6 flying.
Oh, Gator
No,
gets it.
Hive, please.
You were the chosen one.
You were supposed to bring balance to this discussion,
Well, now
not betray me.
we're 2 for 2 now. Just saying. Oh, we lost to Jonathan.
Goodbye, Jonathan. Oh, that's a badger.
It's not a honey badger though, so it's not going to win the fight.
So we're gonna mill 4 and then put counters on a mystic. I'm not sure that matters because we don't have trample.
Oh man, that Chomanos would have been beautiful. Oh, I guess not.
No,
I don't
no,
think it
there's
does a whole
artifacts.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
2 artifacts. Ugh.
I mean, if he comes up with Apostle's Blessing,
Yep.
then Puzzle has a problem.
Test Shark is
I
still
mean,
blocked.
Puzzle
though.
has a problem because this Ginger Brute is almost lethal on its own.
Yeah.
No, I mean the Ginger Brute he just blanks with the Kami.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like you gotta get to a point where like you can force it through and have the Ginger Brute. Like you gotta have like lethal from both players.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I'm saying, like, Lotad's board is never not going to be a huge, major, like, game-ending threat for Puzzle. Puzzle needs to figure out how to survive the Enforcer, and like, as long as he can just keep recurring an Ornithopter every turn, then he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Which I think they have that on lock currently. If you just look at the board, say the Puzzle has developed the ability to draw, discard, continue to
Yeah.
bring something back, it's pretty safe to say that this Kami will return every turn cycle of this game.
Right. Which I mean, I'm looking at this and I am just baffled by Lotad's decision to go for Jonathan and not finish off Puzzle when he had the chance. Like,
Well, like the issue is like he just dies to a Wilson hit because he keeps turning everything sideways. So like you have to like
was he about to die to a Wilson hit? Didn't you say he had 6 Wilson damage?
he
Wilson's
had,
not a 10/10.
well, he had, I don't remember how much he had. It was 6 or 8, but like it was a pump spell. I mean, like Jonathan's hand was pretty full most of that game, but like the Wilson was a 6 power thing at the time Jonathan died. So like it doesn't take much for that bear to just kill Lotad out of nowhere.
Yeah,
With no
I mean
blockers.
the fear of the unknown is definitely quite a large deal in our format. So especially Simic Wilson isn't very well known. So the fear of the unknown of just not either understanding
my
what they have going on. Oh, go for
my
it.
fear of the unknown is I don't know if Puzzle's gonna combo next turn.
Right.
Like that's my that's what keeps me awake at night. Like,
Well, that's
it's if I leave
Okay.
the combo player alive.
why I think you negotiate, and that's why you say, "Hey, Jonathan, puzzle's a problem. You can kill me or like are close to killing me. I'm not gonna swing it. Like you have to like use that like, hey, I could probably deal with puzzle right now, but I need some cooperation." And
Yep, I completely agree with that one.
but it's tough, and maybe like Jonathan, I don't think they had that conversation based on just how quickly attacks happened, and I feel like that would have taken a minute to get through, well, just based on how attacks happened, that clearly didn't happen. So,
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's like everyone was relatively threatening here. So it's very difficult to look at someone and go, hey, man, we're going to do this thing. Yeah, just ignore everything I'm also doing. And let's take care of this when I'm also the problem. Which is, a hard dynamic to bring across to other players.
so Puzzle's in a good spot. He got a free sack outlet now, so he it doesn't have a loop yet, I don't believe, because he's not doesn't have a way. His loop piece is Salvage Scout, so he doesn't have a way to generate that colored mana yet.
Yeah, he does. The Astrolabe should get there. As long as it comes taps, you have the
No, because you're not generating mana with Astrolabe.
mirror that creates the colorless. I believe we're there. No, we're
That
off of
doesn't.
mana. Yeah, no. No, I'm looking at it, trying to do the math. While my dog is crawling up me currently. So we pop. We sack. Yeah, we're off. Wait, are we?
Yeah.
So this pops, makes it colorless, filter into white, pop, sack it, bring it back, net a card. We're really close. Why not the Astrolabe here? Zach, bring back. Bring it back. Now we have no more mana, so he's gonna pop.
And he's just doing the commie because you can't mess around too much and fuck up and then be out of a commie because then you just lose. So you can like spin your wheels a little bit, but he just doesn't have it yet.
Yeah, so he's definitely playing it safe because we have the Ornithopter and we have both Ornithopters up for blockers at worst case scenario here. Instead of using one of them for mana. See what we got. All right. A cycle.
Drew some type of green card.
He's got to have double threshold at this point. Makes him a 9/9 with extra flying, right?
Yep. I mean, we could grant.
High, yeah. So
that's at least over the 0/2 Ornithopter under the bus.
Gotta be. Yeah.
Ram through. Let's see the ram through. I'm all about it. You know what
Doesn't
I would love?
Doesn't have a green mana.
I know.
Beachbot's just hanging out on 3 lands still.
All right, untap Suture Priest, right? That's what we got going on. Untap Suture Priest, or not untap, but just main phase 2 Suture Priest.
Suture Priest would be pretty devastating for Puzzle.
Yep. Oh, what do we have? What's this?
So Lauren's escape end of turn.
Why are we doing that end of turn?
To get the scry.
Just scry. He's held it.
Got it. It's just make them bigger. All right.
What he really needs to draw right now is Flaring Pain and a mountain. That'll do it.
Basically there.
If this one card is a mountain Flaring Pain, then he is all set. Game over.
I agree. I think it would be better if he discarded it and flashed it back.
Yeah.
Ooh, Drew Plains.
That's not a mountain or a Flaring Pain.
One giant ginger brute. Yeah, mill. What do we have? Oh, that's a good draw. Does that win? That's a filter. It's in and out. So depending on what
needs to have a card to cast to do anything.
What is this magically out of nowhere? What was that? Is that a humble?
That's a humble.
That's an original Urza Saga humble?
My man Beachbot knows what's good.
Are we slamming into Teshar right here?
That is amusing, if true.
Yeah, that's an original Urza Saga humble.
But then we're back to the... I mean, yeah, I think you still make low tide kill Puzzle, but...
No. If he's doing that now, it's in response. Puzzle can't create more things, and Teshar becomes a vanilla, which doesn't bring back the Kami, which allows Lotad to kill Puzzle.
Right, that's what I was saying. You make Lotad still kill Puzzle. And now, because you have the fog, you should be... I mean, he needs to find a way to pump Mystic again. But this is like what we're talking about. Like, he's going to have a free turn from the moments piece to not have to worry about Lotad attacking and get there with commander damage, because I guess there's a Loyal Pegasus I could block, but
Well,
and
there's
a
also
Moth. There's a
Golden
few
Glow
flyers.
Moth.
Okay.
Yeah. The Moth ironically gains 4 life.
Yeah, it's just a matter of if Lotad remembers about that fog being there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mystic Enforcer just draws and passes.
No. You attack Lotad for sure.
Really?
Yeah, why would you not? Because then if you don't, like, this is your chance, because Lotad is going to swing Ginger Brute at Puzzle, and he's going to swing everything else at you. So you pass, you're just signing your own death, because you're not going to moments piece on. I guess you don't. You could
you both
moments
die.
piece, but I mean, you maybe like talk to Lotad about that, although he's casting something, so maybe he's not going to.
Did he forget his own moment space?
That would be amazing. So now I don't know how he doesn't just die, and Lotad doesn't just win the game.
That's a Rancor.
The other question I have here is, does Puzzle currently possess? I can't see all of what's on his board. Does he possess the utility to sacrifice one of these flash affinity things and get combat back instant speed?
He does have a way to sack it. I don't know if he has a way to get it back, because he doesn't have Salvage Scout. So
Correct.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he has a way to return it unless he has some type of flash thing.
Beachbot's dropping Rancor onto this Mystic Enforcer. Is he just so like tilted about the Kami? Is he going to be the one to just ruin Puzzle? Is he taking matters into his own hands here?
Yeah.
Oh no, where is this? If this goes at Lotad, this is what, an 8-shot? So
Yeah.
we go up. Where is this going? Please tell me this is not a Puzzle. What's happening? It is at Puzzle.
Man, yeah, I think Beachbot just signed his own death certificate.
We have the Kami instant speed?
No, he's just blocking.
There's no, yeah.
Oh, okay. Block and pump. Yeah.
He's putting 4 toughness on it so that he doesn't die.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, maybe he forgot about his own moments piece. I think is what happened.
Either that, or he just had a mission, and that mission was punish the guy who kept looping the Kami.
Tunnel vision,
an understandable mission. So
yeah, tunnel vision does affect us all at a point. So I have been there as well. So
now we'll wait 10 minutes for
all the dice to turn.
All the dice.
I don't know why we didn't just
go to attack. Yeah, I agree.
He drew a lash knife. He's gonna play a lash knife.
Sure. It's kind of like the BM win more situation.
I mean, the ginger. What? Oh, there had to be some politics here.
Nope, they're not done.
Because Lotad is not attacking anything else.
What are we like? There's no thinking here. You turn sideways. Like, what are we doing?
Okay, there it is. All right.
You swing every. These ground blockers don't do anything. It's a Mystic Enforcer. Turn them too. What are we doing?
Keep turning things sideways, Lotad. You're so close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just turn 5 more things sideways.
You are not. You don't die to anything. Like just
don't unturn them sideways.
What do you, just
keep turning them sideways.
Sideways.
we don't know what's happening. Oh wait.
Okay.
There we go.
The team is joining.
There we go.
Hey!
No, turn those. Those don't do anything behind. There's
what
literally
is
just
happening?
a flying thing.
Lotad, I'm sending you my spirit energy. My spirit energy is turning the whole squad sideways.
Thank you.
That's all I'm about. Yeah, it worked. I'm so good at this.
We're so happy now. We're so much happier now.
Okay.
What is happening? Is this a welding jar?
Puzzle
No.
just milled 2 things.
Oh, I thought it was. I was like, what is happening? Yeah, it's lethal. You don't even have to do the math. There's like
Yeah,
an 8 power, a 9 power, a 7 power, another 7 power. Like, what?
Beachbod's Suture Priest was on top of his deck.
Oh.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, if you remember your moments piece there, you negotiate with low tide, so low tide only kills puzzle, and then you get in for 6, and then you need 16, so you need multiple buffs, which is tough. You had the Rancor in hand. Yeah, I don't know.
But what I'm hearing is you attack the Salmon player.
No, you make low tide kill puzzle for sure. But
No, you lost me. My plan is attack the Salmon player.
Oh,
Sure.
that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, you saying other things is kind of confusing me. You're really messing with my feeble caveman brain over here.
That's my accent.
That's fair. But all right. Well, that was fun. I think we'll call it a night there. If anyone's still watching Let's Play Games, jump in. Looks like there's still going to be 1 or 2 happening. And then thank you, Gator. Thank you, Alkadron, for joining. Any last things you guys want to say while I declare the winner and give away these imaginary channel points?
No, I got nothing to add. Those were sweet games.
I just want to say thank you for having me. Really enjoyed hanging out with you guys this evening.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well, we will call it there. Thank you, everyone. Get your hands on tokens by playing in FNM games. Play all the cool tournaments coming up. And play more PDH. Okay, thanks.
Cheers.
Bye now.
Later.